It's another Sunday, and another moment for us to reflect here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show. Thank y'all for pulling up as usual. I'm Jay, that's Coop. Thanks for hitting us up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to. While you're here, please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Give us 5 anyway, and gift it. So, on today's traditional episode of the Sooner or Later Sports Show, me and Coop's going to do what we typically do best. We're going to break down this last game and just how upset and sad we are in this one. We're going to talk about what the heck we need to do to go forward. Because, in the great words of one of our commenters, Must Vid, we're going to flush this game and move forward. If you need therapy, Coop's going to lead the way, but then we're going to send that to the other video that I made right after the game. So, happy Sunday to all of you. Coop, talk to me, man. How are you feeling so far?
Feeling good. Like I said, you know, it's we're getting into that fall recipe, and so wifey made a big old thing: beans, cornbread, cabbage, collard greens. We had ourselves a nice little homemade strawberry shortcake. So I'm in a little bit of a food coma right now, which is never bad. There we go.
Oh,
and
shoot,
so,
my bad, man. Woo! The thought of that food had your boy in a food coma feeling, man.
It was good.
Yeah. That sounds amazing, man. And shout out to y'all for pulling up in here, man. As Coop talks about comforting food, that's what I had to have. I had to have me a big old bowl from Qdoba of just rice and beans. And, you know, I had me a big old cookie from Chili's, one of those skillet cookies with the ice cream. I had to have that as my comfort. So I had a couple of things of comfort food, which completely went against the diet. Now I need to go hit that treadmill again. But hey, thank y'all for pulling up. I know that a lot of you have felt the pain. I know a lot of you were down bad. Sheldon, shout out to you. I understand the down bad feeling. Yesterday, we were all down bad. We were all down bad. Hence why I went live right after the game. I know Coop was quite perturbed. So I just went ahead and went on, and I just let y'all have it, right? And if you go look at that video in the comment section, it's getting nasty. I'm just going to tell y'all that now. It's getting very, 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 very nasty. And I'm glad y'all got that off your chest. I'm glad that we got that feeling off. Because I want to open up with this statement as we lead into the beauties of talking about this season. Coop, do you remember the 2015 football season?
I do remember that.
So for some of you, we went 11-2 that year. Finished 5th in the rankings, 8-1 in conference. Bob Stoops was still head coach at that point. Lincoln Riley was running the offense. And in that season, we had Baker Mayfield, Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon, right? D.D. Westbrook, Sterling Shepard, Rodney Anderson, Trevor Knight was still out there playing quarterback. He lost basically the starting job. Mark Andrews was out there, young pup, Dimitri Flowers, etc.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we started that season, Coop. First game of the season against Akron, we won the game 41-3. Now, you may be thinking, Jay, man, we blew them out. What do you expect? It was 17-3 at the half. Sooner fans were booing. Sooner fans were booing in that game.
Mims scored a touchdown with like no time left to make it 10-3 at halftime, if I'm not mistaken.
He scored. P. Ryan scored, put us 10-0. D.D. Westbrook scored with 2 minutes left to get us 17-0, and then Akron kicked a field goal with 6 seconds left to make it 3. But then, of course, the second half, Joe Mixon caught a pass, went deep. You know, Meade went 11 yards from Baker. Baker ran in a touchdown, and then Austin Siebert kicked a field goal, and we won 41-3. Some of y'all probably asking, Jay, why the hell are you talking about this? Next game was Tennessee. We traveled to Tennessee. You remember what happened in that game, Coop?
I do remember that game very well.
We were down 17-3 at the half.
Yeah.
Against the Tennessee team was kind of questionable. They were 23rd in the country, but we were still feeling like they were a questionable team. And we tied the game with 40 seconds left, 17 all, and won the ball game in overtime. Next game. Played against Tulsa. At the crib. Tulsa, right? Won that game 52-38. Coop. Know why I'm bringing up that game? Is this the third game of the season? Y'all understand why I'm bringing that up, right? We started the game off 17-3. You know, we doing it, right? We doing it. We let Tulsa score 21 points in the second quarter, and we only scored 14. The score was 31-24 at the half. How many Sooner fans was losing their minds after that game?
Yeah.
Offense was very slow and sputtery. Things just did not go. I mean, Baker had to run a 39-yard touchdown to get us the first score when we were tied. So, somebody mute PG. We don't do trolling in this one. This is not the one that we're going to troll in. You could have trolled last night. Today, we're not trolling tonight. Tonight, we're thinking. But as you see here, Coop, looking at this here. It was 31-24 at the half because Tulsa scored on a 43-yard touchdown with 1 second left. But they also scored a 28-yard touchdown with 13 seconds left. It was all bad. That season at 11-2 was still considered awful for Sooner fans. So my point in bringing all that up is not to say that anybody's overreacting or was losing their minds. I'm telling y'all this because your frustrations are warranted. Coop, your frustrations are warranted. My frustrations are warranted. Being upset about this, it's warranted. So I'm not mad at anybody for it, but I do want to remind y'all, we're only 2 games into the season. With the first year OC, first year quarterback, first year offensive line together. It's going to take a few minutes, especially since the thing that I and Coop pointed out before the season started that would help us to be better, those skills guys are not really performing. Our running backs are kind of, Our wide receivers have been hurt, so we're playing new guys. So we're playing first-year wide receivers too, if you really think about it that way. So we got a lot here that we're trying to mix through. So I'm off my rant, went basically 6 minutes straight. Didn't want to do that, but I had to open up with that to remind y'all. We're going to flush. We're going to move on to Tulane since we are a 14-point favorite in that game. Started 14.5, now it's 14 anyway. Coop, talk to me about this game. Give me your feelings. We're going to go ahead and start bad. Just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid. How you feel about the offense, man? What came to mind for you with this game?
It's here's the thing is what you fall back on. It was I think the one thing that this team needs to find out this week, and you got to do it fast, is what is our identity? What are we all about? How do we? When you fall back, when you have an identity of your team on the offensive side of the ball, what is the thing that we want to? This is goal number one. And from what I saw last night, I don't think that you throw everything on play calling. I don't think that you throw everything on the quarterback. I don't think you throw everything on, the wide receivers, the offensive line. If I was in the locker room for the next practice, it would be this. Guys, this starts with doing your job. You see it on the defensive side of the ball, and each guy on the defense, they do their job. They take care of their job. We talked about it after game one when you see, Kobe McKenzie slap a guy on the backside, scoot him over so that they can be in their position. And that's what you have to go through with this game going into this next week is, all right, do your job well. Do your job well, because that is going to have to be the thing that actually makes sense is if you are the center, what is your job? And you got to be about your job and doing your job with excellence. And then quarterback, same thing, is when it is time for a play, do your job and let's do that, because that is going to be the number one piece is you cannot worry about somebody else. You cannot worry about what this guy's doing on the other side of the field or whatever. But that's it. Is you got to do that. Now that also goes up to Seth. Is what is my job? Because now there's no more. We don't have any more. What's buffer? There's no more buffer for this team. Now it is all right, guys. Now it's the season. Now let's go, because this going around tinkering, excuses with vanilla and stuff like that. It is now. Let's go and let's find out what we need to do to make easier lanes for the running backs. Javonte Barnes is out there running like a madman, and when he doesn't have somebody grabbing him in the backfield, he seems to be cooking. Sawchuk, it seems like he takes the ball and he's drilled immediately. So
it's weird,
I think
right?
It just looks odd, because I saw Barnes. There was one point, I think it was the end of the first quarter. Barnes had a 13-yard run right up the middle. A little bit later, he has the edge run to where they run it to the boundary. But then there's also times where I think that the play calling wasn't terrible the entire game. There were bad times, but there was one play where Bauer Sharp, which I love Bauer, and I think that I'm excited about what he can be. And I don't know if it is, practicing against this faster defense all season. He plays faster than he needs to with the competition that's in front of him. But I've seen on multiple times Bauer Sharp has situations where he has a capability to go out and to block somebody, and he over pursues and he leaves himself open. There was a swing pass out to Javonte. Javonte ends up, dodging somebody, but the guy that ends up making the tackle for a 1-yard gain was the guy that Bauer Sharp had responsibility on blocking. McQuistion did a breakdown from game 1 where Sawchuk probably runs for a 50-yard touchdown if Bauer Sharp doesn't over pursue.
Yep.
And so I will say this. Here's my consolation for everybody watching right now is we have not been beat. We have been at a spot to where we are not executing the plays appropriately. And so that is something, if we're just out there just getting drummed, that's something that that's a sad, and that's concerning. But I think that at this point, this is something for every single guy to look in the mirror and say, can I do more and can I do a better job at this? And if those guys are out there and they're busting their ass, pardon my language, but if they're busting it and they're doing a great job, and then it's the play calling, now you can go that. Because right now there's so many different things going on that it's hard to go, well, let's blame Seth Luttrell, or let's blame Jackson Arnold, or let's blame the fact that we've got 3 wide receivers 5'8" and under out on the field at the same exact time. So it's one play at a time. It's coach speak when we hear it, but you can't do this. I mean, there's a scripture that says a man cannot serve 2 masters. So if you are wanting to blame other people, but then you're not doing a good job, you can't do that kind of stuff. You got to focus down in, and you got to do that. And I'm sitting here, I'm serious. I'm sitting in church this morning, and that was the thing I was thinking about. It's like, okay, we have to know who we are. What's our identity? So going into Tulane, you're not playing somebody who just got trounced the week before. You're not playing somebody who that you're going to show up and then you're just going to run. You have to go out and you have to go, all right, I'm winning this play. This is my assignment, and I'm winning this play. And I think that if our offense can do that, we don't have to go out and score 60 points. We don't have to go out and score 50 points. Hell, we don't have to go out and score 40 points. I think that if this team gets out there and says, listen, let's give some complementary football opportunities to our defense, because, guys, we were at this point last year, the year before, the year before that, year before that, year before that, to where it's like our offense has to do everything because I know our defense is not going to hold up that side of the ball.
Right.
I think that this offense has the capability and the tools around it with some health that you can get out and you can actually do a great job with things. And so I think that Tulane comes into town. This is maybe a situation to where if I am the head coach of Tulane, I'm looking at my team and I go, guys, let's not do the blood in the water thing, because this team's going to come out like an insane group, and they're going to bring it. So we better do the same, because if you walk out there like that, I think that's not a very, very wise thing. I expect for a big bounce back from this team in week 3.
Very well said. Offensively for me, I mean, after the rewatch, I did another rewatch, right? I watched some stuff. I listened to Gabe and Teddy talk about it. And here's my take. And I see your comments. Don't worry. I see them. I'm not going to put them on the screen while we try to talk through this or whatnot. Try to keep the show going. I see what you're saying. I get where everybody's thinking about, Latrell's struggles. But until I see this team with at least half of the players that are supposed to be starting playing, I can't, especially at the skill spot, I can't really throw Latrell under the bus fully. I don't think it was play calling. I think it was execution. That's my personal take on it, right? Now, this still rolls up to Latrell and understanding that, let's put it this way. I said this in the court earlier. I need Seth Latrell to be the quarterback, not Jackson Arnold at this point. I need Seth Latrell to tell Jackson Arnold where to go with the ball. Jackson is only in his 3rd start at the collegiate level. He's still trying to figure things out. And there's one thing that I know that with Heupel's system, with that veer and shoot at Tennessee, is Nico has an idea where the ball's going before he hikes it. It's just how the system is built. It's built to make it very easy and friendly for quarterbacks. It's ratios. This ratio's this way, go here. Ratio this way, go that way. Similar to the way Dylan Gabriel played. Gabriel had years of experience. That's why you saw something different from him his first 2 years here, because he was already playing for 3 years. 3 years of starting. Remember, he's not very good his last year at UCF before he got hurt. You can tell it. So for Jackson, he's given too many options. And that's where Seth Latrell needs to step in. He needs to take away those options for right now. This is where you're going to go. This is what we're seeing. At most, 2 reads, right? And that's not any shade on Jackson Arnold. He's trying to be as perfect as possible. And Gabe said this perfectly on Oklahoma Breakdown was, it looks like he's trying to wait to throw the ball when they're open. He's not trying to throw the ball he's not trying to do anticipatory throws. And I think he's afraid of making anticipatory throws because everybody slandered the hell out of him after the Arizona game, in which, honestly, most of that wasn't his fault. We're up 31-13. I'm going to keep reminding you of that. We're up 31-13 if we don't have that fumble return for a touchdown. So for him, he's got some yips. He's trying to, and at the same time, he's also trying to rebuild chemistry with the whole bunch of dudes that weren't practicing with the first team all fall, right? You had Nick out there, then he got, the little hammy deal, and he came out. Andrew was starting to get some run. He is trying to build. J.J. Hester was his best wide receiver, and he only got 6 snaps in his last game. Yes, he dropped his passes on the first game because, again, I felt like he was, I give it to PG, think he was yippy. But I'm going to be honest, when I rewatched it, the pass game was not bad. This is where the pass game struggled. Not giving the ball to Deion Burks at 3 yards, right? When I went and rewatched it, Coop, I'm looking at the defense. The defense was literally giving Deion Burks 8 yards. Y'all know why, right? He's a deep threat. They knew it. That pass to Brennan Thompson on the first drive, the second drive. Actually, no, sorry, the third drive. It was after the touchdown that led to the next touchdown to Jake Roberts. When he threw that pass, the pocket was perfect, and the defense bracketed Deion Burks. As soon as Burks made his break deep, you saw the safety follow him and the corner underneath. They had that dude bracketed. Yeah. They were like, you're not going to burn us. And so Brennan came around the middle. He did the nice deep drag. Jackson stepped up, launched a beautiful spiral right into his lap. What was the problem from there on? They kept trying to go deep. They kept trying to play that. That pass to Zion Rajan, he was trying too much. The deep passes, the underthrows to Brennan, and then the pass to the backside of Brennan, bad. What should they have done? The exact same thing that Donovan Smith did. Just keep dumping it. Make them come up. We didn't force the defense to come up. We let the defense chill 8 yards back. That's what we did. And then we kept trying to run it at them.
Yeah.
We kept trying to run it at that wall that just was not opening. So to me, Coop, I was thinking about this earlier. Why don't we just throw screens? Right? Help the line. Help the quarterback. Help the running backs. Quick screens. Tunnel screens, similar to what Houston was doing. Now, granted, we were stopping a lot of Houston's progression. I think they got past the 50-yard twice this entire game. Besides the penalties. Yeah. We did well in defending, but we'll talk about defense in a minute. We'll talk about Tulane last. But to me, Coop, when I looked at that, let me ask you this. What do we need to do going forward with the running back room, man? What do you feel like is probably a better solution? Because when I pulled up the score, the statistics in this game, 78 yards rushing, man. Brutal. So what do we need to do to fix it?
I mean, I think I said what we should see more of, and I was wondering, again, excuses are out now. You need to open up and you need to run your damn offense at this point. And if you're playing vanilla and you're trying to keep things cute, it all starts with the downfield passing game. Is when you don't have multiple threats, you can't. So if you're bracketing Dion and he's going deep, and there's an underneath safety or there's an underneath corner, underneath coverage, and he's relying on the safety, I think that you can't throw jump balls to 5'8" receivers. Like you
gotta stop doing that.
Brennan Thompson's not built for, because why you throw a jump ball to a guy like Nick Six or Jaden Gibson is because they've got some size. That's an advantage right there. Hester's another one. Hester, now I hear that he did get hurt the other night. So last night. So. But if you don't run multiple routes deep and you don't make the corner, see something different, then I think that's an issue. And that's why you don't have that downtown passing game. And so everybody right now for 2 games has said, hey, we see what's going on. We're just going to play at the line of scrimmage. And now you've got all of that situation going on.
Yep.
I don't understand, but also I'd say this is you don't have a lot of opportunity to get guys like Carry On or Zion Kearney, the ball, because you're going 3 and out, and that's 3 plays. I mean, you're going to have a running play in there some, but I think to fix the running back room, number one is you need Seth Luttrell, this offense needs to. I think Stoya said it, so I'm going to jump on board with Stoya. Let's pitch the damn RPO stuff, because it needs to be like you said, Jay. You need to say, all right, this is what you're doing. And it's going to help the offensive line too, because now they're trying to run with a little bit more of it could be a run block, it could be a pass block. I've got my 3 yards, I've got to stay within the 3 yards. You need a singular assignment and work from there, because that needs to become the base of who this offense is. And so again, if you want to give options, let's do some more capable, running out on the edge. Mm-hmm. Because when you run out on the edge, you get the linebackers flowing. Now you can bootleg off of that, and now Jackson Arnold can bootleg back out the opposite way, and he doesn't have the same amount of pressure for a pull. So let's do that. Let's run more play action, but you're going to have some success running the ball. You're going to have to drive, and that's the thing where I think that with all these injuries that we're missing is the capability for these guys to drive. And I'm also to the point where I'm like, hey, listen, I would much rather go and throw Heath Ozida out there. I would rather throw EPL out there. I would rather, do that and say, listen, guys, blow their ass off the ball. I don't care what happens, if it's a pass down, if it's a running down. You focus on putting them on their butt. And we also need to see, if we're going to run all this two back sets and one guy's just out there doing nothing, it's pointless, because now you have another guy with an assignment who's standing in the box. And if the other running back isn't doing anything, or he's running into the back of the offensive lineman, you basically give them the equalizer by having guys in the box. So what do I mean by the 2 back sets? is let's do something to where you have guys going different ways. You have multiple options. If you're going to give Jackson Arnold a multiple option play, let's do it with, hey, listen, you're going to have the chance to pull the ball and to have a running back go out and to pass. So we need to see that. We need to see more of these things, because it doesn't matter if Brennan Thompson, it doesn't matter if Zion Ragens, it doesn't matter if Deion Burks is fast as hell. Is if everybody is right at the sticks, that makes it extremely tough. And I think that, like you said, I think Jackson has way too many issues, way too many things going through his mind, way too many thoughts. And so let's give him one or two. Let him get those things down so he can always go, all right, this is what I'm falling back on. Because right now, we don't have a play that you can just fall back on. And if there is still this predetermined, this is how we're going to play this game, and we're just not going to show anything, you got to throw that shit out right now. It's got to go away, because now you're in a situation to where this defense is stellar. They will not stay stellar if they are on the field for freaking 40 minutes a game. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and Blake, I got to disagree with you on just about all your wide receiver takes. First off, we're not playing with our best wide receivers, right? Farouk's out. Nick's still out, and I think Nick should be back this week. So the wide receivers that we were worried about were Deion Burks, who had 9 catches. You know, he's doing his thing. Nick 6, which Nick should be back this coming week. Now he should be healthier. They didn't have a reason to play him. Andrell Anthony is getting back healthy. The expectation was him to come back to Tennessee, but he played the first game. And they're not trying to rush him, so I expect him to actually play against Tulane now, because we kind of need our best wide receivers out there. So now that we're playing a whole bunch of new dudes, the ones that were best, honestly, was J.J. Hester. We need to play him more. Like, go ahead and get him out there. He had a deep pass. He may have dropped it. It may have went through his hands, but shoot, let him practice. Let him do it. And yeah, these wide receivers were able to get behind our secondary, because we weren't playing to where we were stopping everything deep. Like, literally, if you watch Temple and you watch the way that Houston played, they gave us 8-yard cushions. Why? Because they knew. They're not dumb. They're like, we're not going to get dusted. We're not going to get burnt. We're not going to do that to ourselves. So, honestly, we should have probably played some of the other players. We probably should have played Andrell a little bit more. But I get why. You want to make sure that he's healthy for the most important games. We should have dog walked Houston a little bit better than this. But at the same time, Willie Fritz is a really good coach. Don't forget, he made us struggle when we played Tulane twice. You know, last regime. We struggled with Tulane. Willie Fritz, Duke, can coach his butt off. So with that, wide receiver room, Coop. To me, yeah, it's time to just bring out everybody. And I think, again, the game plan should be just tell this dude where to go. You know the wide receivers that know how to get open. You know the ones that are running the route certain ways, right? BT is your deep threat. You put him in the slot. You have him run a post, a skinny post, or a fly, and you throw it past him. Make him catch up to it. It felt like J.A. was trying to be too perfect. And I hate that, because, dog, take the risk. Launch that thing. Let somebody go get it. But we don't need to be doing that with 5'8" wide receivers, right? I need Zion to be catching quick slants and let him outrun people. I don't need him setting in pockets and catching passes across the middle. That's for Bauer Sharp. That's also for Jake Roberts. Why weren't we throwing it to Bauer and Jake Roberts across the middle a little bit more? Like quick lob passes, right? You go boom, RPO, pow, and you just lob it. You know, the touchdowns and the deep plays that we got out of Jake Roberts. We should have kept doing that. Sometimes, Coop, to me, tell me if I'm crazy, it's okay to just keep doing the same thing over and over. Am I wrong? If it's working, am I wrong?
Make them stop you. But it also is the alternate, and the other side of that is also crap too. When you're trying something over and over and over again and it's not working, like there's nothing positive that comes out of that. So if you are, and listen, I will say this is like, I've heard there's two theories. Let's blow the whole damn thing up, bring in, put Jackson on the bench, bring in Hawkins, bring in Tatum. Guys, everybody's saying that based off of one drive at the end of the game one. Like, that's not the answer. And there is a wave of consequence that happens with that. But what I would say this is you got to just put yourself in a better situation. It's early downs. We averaged 9 yards to go on third down. Now we converted more third down conversions than we did in game one, which, I mean, that's a positive, right? But yeah, it sucks. There is nothing good about what we saw. So you got two forms of thought. If this team just completely says, all right, listen, we know we had a very, 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 very bad situation happen this past week. Let's start right now. We won. It's 2-0. Let's move forward. It doesn't seem that anybody has, gone to a national narrative of this team is going to be dog crap. And maybe it's because everybody kind of expects once we get to the conference, there's going to be a lot of failure anyway. But
right. That's what most people are saying right now.
You got week 3. You walk in 2-0. And now, if you get into this week and it's more of the same and we don't see improvements, and then you go out to Tennessee, you have Tennessee come in and there's no improvements there either, that's where you start feeling the concern. Is if we don't see in the next 2 weeks things happen, that's concerning. But I do say this is we are still at the spot to where things can get better. Things can get better, and they have to get better, because what is going on right now on offense is terrible. It is not good. And at this point, you're Oklahoma. Like, we cannot run these excuses all year long. And you're starting to see some of the recruiting situations where Bill was not a big NIL person here the past couple of years until this past year. And now you're starting to see some of these guys that we have on campus. I'd say right now this transfer line, the offensive line transfers, they're it's not good. And but we can't keep on waiting for guys to get healthy. We can't. It's just not possible.
Yeah, we're gonna need to start getting more bodies. We need more bodies at this point, and it's stacking talent on talent. And if I put it this way, this is one thing that you all liked last season. Hank, this is probably the best statement that I've been trying to say. I've literally said it since the beginning of the year. We need to ride the defense. We're going to ride the defense, and we'll talk about them in a minute. We're going to ride the defense and let the offense get itself healthy and get itself up to speed, because we're all dealing with a bunch of first-year everything. The thing that was supposed to help Jackson Arnold is that he had veteran wide receivers, and unfortunately 2 of them are down. 4 of them are down. So now we need to get those back into the field, right? We got 2 coming back. Luckily, knock on wood, that they come back and they're healthy. But we need those 2 back now. We desperately need that. But we need to ride the defense. But on that, we need to stack talent on top of talent. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're seeing it now. We're seeing that in the recruiting. They're getting more players. We're building that. We're probably going to be way more active in the portal. But Coop, the one thing that I'm seeing that really needs to change is that we've got to get more physical. The one thing you all loved, as I was talking about a minute ago, is how physical we were against Texas last year, right? We were the more physical team. We were pushing them around. We were doing all that stuff that y'all love, right? But the consequences of being the more physical team on the field? You're going to have practice casualties. You're going to have people that's going to be banged up on a regular basis. Why? Because they're being physical. Like, we love physicality. We love a team that's super physical. We love a team that's pushing people around. But then you got to deal with dinged up players. Injuries here. Hurt players. But with that, let's talk defense. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe. If you're listening, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Cool. We're going to talk a little positive here. Like, I know some of y'all don't want to hear positive. I'm sorry. I am definitely a silver lining guy. I always look at the brighter side of things. That's the only reason why I've survived as long as I have being alive, right? You got to look at the bright side in order to get over just everything that happens to you in life. This is how I survive. So That defense looks good. Now, somebody made mention about the busted touchdown. Contrary to popular belief, that was not on Billy Bowman. That was on Robert Spears-Jennings. Billy was passing the play on, and this is where things can suck for us. Shout out to Danny Stutzman. He mentioned this before. I don't know if a few of y'all caught this, but he puts tape over his ears, right? For those that don't understand, it's not because the mics aren't loud enough. It's because y'all as fans are loud. So because of that, the other team is struggling to hear, but that also means we're struggling to hear too. So Danny likes to cover it up so he can try to hear the actual play in his head while also looking at the sideline to be able to get the signs. That busted play happened after Woody Washington got that interception. And the refs took it from us. I don't care what anybody says. Y'all can tell me whatever. I watched that play on all the angles. They showed the replays. The guy that the ref that was watching, he did not take account to the defender having his hand like this on Woody, and they're battling it out physically, and Woody's watching the ball, and then Woody turns. That was a pick because they were both being physical. It wasn't one. The only difference is that you could tell Woody was stronger than Manjack. You could easily tell that Woody was stronger than Manjack. He got the pick, called the PI, boom. But y'all, I know for those that watched it or even there at the field, y'all were raining boos after that. Y'all were hot. So y'all were really loud after that. And I rewatched that play. So I was trying to figure out, who was supposed to cover that side of the zone? Well, Billy was yelling at Kendall Dobie. He went over to Robert Spears-Jennings and everything. And it looked like there was a cross in the communication. Spears-Jennings ran up to catch the tight end, the same as I think that was Des Malone on the other side or Jacoby Johnson, one of the two. They both came in, and that left Manjack going deep wide open.
Yeah.
They couldn't hear. It. It was more of that was a complete cross communication. And I love how Teddy and Gabe said that was one of those mistakes that'll never happen again with Robert Spears-Jennings. Because the beauty of it was later on in the game, guess what? He got that pick. In which that was probably the one critique I have, Coop. We knew that they were going to keep going underneath. Why weren't we jumping routes?
I would say this. The refs, I think Woody got screwed on two different calls. I think the first pass interference.
Oh, my God.
Called on
yes.
him. The receiver falls down in front of him and then tries to get up, and Woody is making a play on the ball. That one's crap. Then the interception, that one's bad. You got to see Robert Spears-Jennings. He redeemed himself later in the game. He jumped the route. He came in and he got the pick. There was not, it was three-step drop heaven, and it was stand up and throw the ball. And that's more of what I think this offense needs to do for our side. This is, it's this defense, they continue to do what they're supposed to do. And this is still line up and play vanilla. This is what they've done playing vanilla the entire time. They're, knock on wood, they're not dealing with injuries like that on the defensive side of the ball. Woody came in. He was doing a great job. You see Samuel Masigo, he's now rotating in with Dolby earlier. So people are really, really excited about what he's doing. He had a massive tackle for loss. This defense still is not, they're not faced with anything yet. And I told everybody, you don't overreact to week one. This is Willie Fritz. He's a great head coach. What's his name? The quarterback is Donovan Smith. This is not a chump. This is not a chump. He is a capable quarterback. He's in
4 years.
He's 4-year starter. So the defense continues to do this with an absolute just all-night job on their hands. And, we still played a decent amount of guys. But, there's still guys that are hungry. And I know that there's somebody in here right now who really, really wants to see their son get more opportunity. Yep. And that's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I think that here when, I would like to see this team say, you know what, screw putting stuff on film. Let's go out this week. Let's put some absolute fear into Tennessee, because right now, I don't know what Tennessee's thinking. I'm guessing that Josh Heupel's probably not looking at this and going, all right, we're really excited. I think what he sees is, all right, I see a super, super capable defense, and we're going to have to play really, really well on offense.
Yep.
And that's it. Just is what it is. I don't think that he expects to show up and get the things going on for. I don't think they're just going to think they're going to roll in and throw up 600 yards. I don't think that that's what's going on with him right now. But this defense continues to play well. Again, I don't know. With some of the negativity around the offense, the defense needs to just stay who they are. Just be who you are. Play how you're going to play. You continue to see. I mean, let's just go to this. It's Grayson Halton. We've heard about Grayson Halton for 3 years now. And that dude is doing something that I did not expect from him. I expected for him to be, the 5th or 6th best defensive tackle. The guy is balling out. I mean, he's balling out in a way that I haven't seen a defensive tackle do in some time. I like to see that, Dom got himself a sack early in the game. He was making the push. You didn't really see any like massive blow plays, from Jaden Jackson this week, but DJ Terry, you saw some big emotion out of him. So this defense is going to know. I mean, this is great because, one of the things I really want to ask Steve, from Danny is like, hey, listen, the 360 from you being the weak link on the football team to now you lead this candidate. You lead this team as the candidate, as the side of the ball that is dominant. Like, what do you think about that? Because this defense is good, and again, still playing pure vanilla. There's not any exotic blitzes. There's not any exotic fronts. There's no craziness like that. This defense is going to have some time to do some damage, and so I'm happy with it again. Danny got himself 15 tackles, tackle for the loss. We had 7
That's your
tackles
MVP
lost.
right there.
Yeah, he still is. He's last week we had 3 or 4 different guys that you thought were going to do it. RSJ, he made up for that mistake. That was a communication mistake. Dude jumps a route, and really kind of secures. Well, until Josh Bates did the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It's basically secured the game at that point. So, the defense is going to continue, but they cannot do this for 12 more games. That's not possible. That's not possible.
It's Stutzman out there playing both Mike and Will, moving around, communicating with everybody. You could see he was upset that they even pulled him out for a minute. He did really good, right? Stutzman is showing you he's working on getting himself drafted first round. He's going to be a late first round pick based upon the way he's playing right now. Billy, we got to go ahead, take Billy off of punt return, kick return. Well, kick return is fine. Punt, take him off. Yank him. We need to find somebody else. Because I know that he was good at it back in the day. He got hurt when he was first here. He was good at it in high school. You get 2 muffs, bye-bye. You got to pull it. Got to pull it. It was just more so he wasn't concentrating on that. But overall, the defense is doing everything you all have been wanting. And this is the funny thing, Coop. Which would do you prefer? Having a really good defense and the offense be questionable? Or have a really good offense and the defense be questionable? We complain. We would like to have both. That is the goal. You won't get that until you have a quarterback that's in his 3rd year of running the offense. That's just kind of just how we've seen it statistically. Even in Baker's era, right? Probably one of our potentially better defenses was going to be around 16 and 17. And yeah, we saw how that actually ended there. And having both is hard. It's very hard, especially having high power. Having a team that runs in the right tempo and pace and controls the clock, that's hard too. Now, in this game, we didn't do it very well. 35 minutes on defense in this game. The defense held up. They were bending, but they refused to break. That's huge for what we're trying to do here at Oklahoma. Y'all been asking for defense. We've seen that national championships are won by defensive coaches more than offensive guys. So what do we need to do now? We've just got to add the offensive experience with the defense. And I think we'll get there. I'm not I am not. I have concerns, but I'm not stressed out like everybody else is. But defensively, Coop, that defensive line, man, looked good, right? We weren't getting a bunch of pressure, but we had Donovan Smith getting rid of the ball very fast. I mean, if you noticed, it was quick dunk passes. He didn't throw the ball over 10 yards, but like 2 or 3 times in the entire game. Like, is that a bad thing, Coop?
No, I mean,
Was that something that you want?
No, I mean, do you want him worried about doing that? I mean, they've got you had Manjack on the blown coverage with Stephon Johnson. He had himself. It was a little quick run, but that's the guy that I was really worried about from them on an offensive side was the Mekhi Muse kid.
Yeah,
just because he's a little slot receiver. What did he have? 5 catches for 23 yards, like 4.6 a catch. Longest one being 8. I mean, the defense did what they were supposed to do. They when we punted the ball back, Elzinga, you get the player of the game overall. But we get it back there, and I think there was 2 opportunities in a row where we could have got it put ourselves in an opportunity to get safety. Grayson Hunton balled out. I mean, he got that safety, and it was it was like the goal line stand against Texas. So what do we have for the rest of the season? The offense, like I said earlier, we don't need 40 points a game. We don't need 50 points a game. But what we do need is to find the identity on what we're going to try to do. Who are we going to be? And I think that with the rotation and the overhauling of the offensive line almost every drive, that's tough. And so, but if we get if we continue with this, with the injuries, you got to find something. Seth Luttrell needs to meet up and get in front of Jackson and say, all right, here's what we're doing well. Here's what we're going to do. And like you said, 1 read, 2 read, go. I think you ride with Javonte. Javonte is our best back, and it's not even close right now. I don't know if Sawchuk has the hamstring thing or if he's spinning around, but I mean, it's right now. No, this team, you don't look at Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Alabama. You don't look at those games and go, well, we can win those right now. Thing is, we don't play Tennessee this week. We don't play Texas this week. We don't play Bama this week. Those will come in its own. Don't borrow worry from tomorrow. Like let's keep it down, because as the one thing. Listen, I know that we're frustrated as fans. I know the press is frustrated. I know the content creators are frustrated. I know that the parents are frustrated. I know some of the players are frustrated.
Yep.
But I say the one thing is listen, you can be frustrated. You can be agitated. You can show your frustration. But don't forget, these are still kids. They are getting paid. Yes, I understand that. But they're still kids. I still just encourage everybody, don't be crazy. Don't be crazy on the socials. Don't, the Boo Birds came out. The Boo Birds came out. Like, let's not mess with that. So, Tulane can beat this team. If we go out there and play like we did this week, they can beat us. I don't see that happening as far as us playing like this again this week.
I don't think Tulane defensively is good enough to cause us problems. If you want me to be honest, I don't. And I think that our defense can handle their offense. I do. I'm going to continue to reiterate that the defense is what's going to carry us, because I think that this defense is built to be able to, our run, we have one of the nation's best run defenses. We're not giving up very many yards on the ground like that.
No, it's 58 yards this week.
We're number 16 right now. We've given up 127 rush yards this season.
So I'm guessing right around 60-something last week. So,
yep.
Yeah, but again, it's every single aspect of this team has to be like, how do we correct what I'm doing?
Right. Yep. Passing, Donovan Smith was the one that had the most success against us, right? We gave up only 200 yards in the first game of the season, which under 200 yards, which is pretty darn good. Something that we haven't done very often. We need to now, if anything, we need to keep making these teams punt like crazy, because when you looked at it, we kept Houston punting on a regular basis. Our problem was we weren't replying back. So we keep talking about the defense and how the defense isn't good. They're literally were stopping all kinds of stuff. Like, that's what they were doing. Punt, 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 punt. It was just back and forth. That was the problem. And at a certain point, you got to give your defense a break. You got to give your defense a break. And so for me, the big thing is going up against the team as we get to Tulane, and then you get to the next one, which would be Tennessee. You've got to get out there, and the offense has to keep the ball longer. We need a higher time of possession.
Yeah.
You got to have a higher time of possession. That's key, right? We went from 35-23 in that game. We didn't have the ball long enough on offense. We need just constant conversions. We need long drives. We need to do everything we need to do to dump the ball to your running back, tight end, whatever, and go. We just need to gain yards and go. Again, that's hence why I said the best thing we could do for ourselves in this is pass the ball quick. Deion Burks had 15 catches, 3 touchdowns, but only 89 yards. And it's all because every defense we played against has gotten smart. Smart. They're like, no, we're not going to let this dude beat us deep. Why will we do that to ourselves? We're not going to let this guy beat us deep. We're going to make sure that he catches the ball short. So we need to find ways to get him the ball on the regular basis. And I think once we do that, Coop, I think we'll be fine. But Tulane's a really good team. Mensa was solid. He got hurt last game against Kansas State. Kind of struggled a little bit at the end, but because he got hurt, but he's solid. Their run game Hughes is okay. Mario Williams out there, 10 catches for 252. You know they're going to try to go deep on us, right? Yeah. Mario's going to want to. We got Latrell McClutchin on defense. We went after him, got a few plays, got him hurt, and he ended up coming out. We need the offense to show up in this game. So I guess the biggest secret is just dump the ball quickly to our players just to get going. Get the line to where they don't have to do so much. Right? We need the line to not feel as stressed. RPO, pull it. Or run it occasionally because, hey, when the RPO worked, everyone was happy. Got touchdowns. We got happy with those. When it wasn't working, that's when everybody complained. Problem is we weren't handing the ball off when we probably should have in some RPO. So stop making that decision.
Yeah, take it away.
Just go ahead and bubble screen, tunnel screen, middle screen, wide receiver, swing passes, whatever. Get the ball out of J.A.'s hands quickly so that he can get more comfortable. Let him get comfortable with the motion of throwing the ball, right? Not saying that he can't throw. Get him in the comfort of motion. Okay, I felt that touch. That was a good touch. That was a good throw. That was a good pass. That was a good this. Get him in those motions and we'll be fine. But once Nick and Andrell gets back, I bet you timing is better. Please play more Petaway. Pay more Hester. I need those two both to play more. That's what we need. So I think we'll be fine. Long term. But Coop, what do you think is who do you think is going to be the one that needs to jump out in this game against Tulane?
I mean, it starts with Jackson. It is an absolute. I mean, he needs to get up there. He needs to go do what he's supposed to do. You got to be quick with the ball. You have to be decisive with the ball. If you make a mistake, downfield throwing the ball, that's fine. But the interception. The commentator said something along the lines of, there's two times that Jackson's thrown the ball deep, and I think that he's trying to be perfect with it. When you throw a deep ball, I mean, with the guys that you have, I'd rather him overthrow these guys than underthrow. And it seems like he's underthrown guys more often because I think he's trying to make a perfect pass. And so he needs to go out there and say, hey, listen, I just need to show up and I need to play. I need to play my game, be who I am. Again, I could say like, hey, it's the offense. Let's get the offensive line, get out there and go and play better. But the offensive line, that's a health situation. That's why I say each guy needs to look at themselves in the mirror and say, I need to do better. What do I need to do? I want to know, that's mental reps. You don't have to be out there because, again, I don't want guys out there doing extra drills, and getting hurt again or anything like that. But you got to have these extra reps, these mental reps. You got to get in the film. If I was these offensive linemen, I'd be in the film room as often as possible, getting out there because that's going to be it. Is I think that with the pass protection, Jackson didn't seem like he was getting really. It didn't seem like he was getting drilled on pass protection. It was get out and have some faith in the offense. I think that you need the bigger receivers again, like I said, with Brennan Thompson, Burks, and Ragens out there. I mean, your tallest receiver's 5'8" at that point. I want to see some mix up in there. And right now, I mean, Seth Luttrell knows exactly what's going on. He knows what's being said. Exactly. Everything about it. He knows this. He's from here.
Oh yeah, he knows the expectation. He knows that we are lighting him up. He knows it.
And at this point, it is all right. Time to earn my spot. Because I promise you this is if it does not continue, if there's no progression with guys coming back from injury, that's when you go, all right, that's when you can kind of jump on Luttrell. But again, I'm not to this point to where I'm ready to just blow the whole thing up after week 2. It wasn't pretty. It was ugly. It was absolutely ugly. But I'd say this is I'd rather have the win this week than what Notre Dame threw out there against Southern Illinois or Auburn getting beat by Cal. There's other teams out there that they got the L, and now they have to decide what's going on there. We at least are 2-0 at this point. We expect better, and we want to see better. We got a defense. Now it's time for the offense to hop in. We've got the pieces for it, and you can hide the offensive line pieces a lot more than you can, just having no receivers. So if you get Andrell Anthony back and you now get, if Nick Six does make his return, then now it's time to go. But I also expect this. I think the coaching staff is going to, I think they're going to prepare differently this week, and definitely the week at Tennessee. They're going to prepare differently, and we'll see something different.
Yeah, I still got faith in the coaching staff. I still got faith in what BV is putting together. He's giving us a defense, something that we've asked for, and now we're not very happy, but it's okay because we're now, showing up with the new offense. We're figuring that out. I still have my belief in them, still in trust in all of them, right? I think that they're all putting the players in the best situation possible. We just ain't healthy. We want to have the most physical team. We're always going to be, if we're going to be physical, we're going to have to deal with the casualties of it, right? Collateral damage of it. You're going to have guys going to be hurt. And Sooner Legend, Mike, man, appreciate you pulling up. So I'm going to say this on the Bates deal. Sure, I get that you will feel like he was defending his quarterback. Cool. He almost cost us a portion of this game. Last possession. That you don't do stupid stuff like that. He can jaw, and everybody's pushing him back jawing. The minute he took his helmet off, that's when he screwed up.
The refs are not. Yeah, because that's black or white. The refs are going to allow you to get up and get up in someone's face. They're going to allow that. That's going to happen. But the moment you take the helmet off, they got to throw the flag.
Yeah, they're going to throw the flag. You don't take your helmet off and jaw like that. He could have kept jawing and walking. I get it. But the minute he took his helmet off, he screwed up. What's good, Truth? Appreciate that. Yes, we have a solid front seven. Our defense is legitimate, right? And I get you, Sooner Cowboy. You ain't sold on the defense. I don't know why you ain't sold on the defense. I'm sold on the defense. You don't have to be. I am. I'm going to 100% be there with that because I think that we're doing everything that we're supposed to do defensively, right? We're getting pressure. We might get a lot of sacks, but I've recognized that when teams are getting rid of the ball quickly, we're not going against quarterbacks who aren't trying to get rid of the ball. Like, you saw that against Temple, a quarterback that doesn't know how to get rid of the ball quickly. Guess what? It was in his throat. Donovan Smith has been around. He played at Texas Tech, guys. He knows what it's like to be under pressure. He was getting rid of that ball as quickly as possible. And so we're going to have to adjust the defense, get back to the exotic blitzes, and do what we normally do as we get ready going into SEC play. Because we're going to have 3 tough games, right? You know, Tulane's going to be a tough one because they are a nice, high-powered offense. Summerall is doing very well down there. They should have won that game against Kansas State, but their defense just gave it up. Hopefully we do that. We got that. Then you've got, of course, Tennessee, who's one of the higher-powered offenses in the country. I'm not saying that we have a Georgia-level defense, but I watched Georgia make them struggle on offense. I've seen it, right? The whole point is if your defense is strong enough and it's good enough to get enough pressure and make the looks confusing, guess what? You're going to have teams struggle. But I'll tell you this. They need your support. So be there for them. Show them some love. Coop, final thoughts.
Yeah. It's now it's time to nut up, shut up. If this team wants to get in here and they want to, they still have every single goal out in front of them. And if they want to obtain any of these goals, it's time. So yeah, it is an absolute 100% need to that you're going to have to see each one of these players kind of come together. This team's going to continue to trust each other. They're going to continue to push each other, and yeah, you got to do better because that ain't going to cut it between here and there. I mean, you got to get better,
and that's it. That's what we got to do. So let's make it happen. All right. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, and all of that jazz. Thank you all for tuning in and hanging out with us. Don't worry. We'll break down a lot more of this. I'm going to go watch the game. Actually, as soon as I get off here, I'm going to go watch the game one more time. And we're going to, see where all we need to make adjustments. So I'll dive into that. We'll chop it up with all of you in the next day or two. Keep your heads up. We've got a defense. Peace.